Up here, you don't hear screams, only the wind, and your own breath turning into a rasp. This is a world where even the air betrays you. You walk on the edge. Every step could be your last. Welcome to the place where the mountains devour those who climb too close. Everest and K2. Two sacred peaks, two legends, and two graveyards buried under snow. But if Everest is the dream of thousands, then K2 is the nightmare even Everest climbers fear. The majesty and the difference. Mount Everest, 8,848 meters, the highest point on Earth, a symbol of human triumph over nature. K2, 8,611 meters, only 237 meters shorter, but a completely different world. No rescue helicopters, no big camps with Wi-Fi, no lines of climbers waiting for a selfie. Only ice, darkness, and silence, the kind no one returns from. Every year, hundreds climb Everest. Only a few dozen attempt K2, and that's why they call it the Savage Mountain. Why? Because the numbers don't lie. On Everest, about 1 in 100 climbers dies. On K2, 1 in 4. To this day, over 6,000 people have reached Everest's summit. Around 320 never made it back. K2, barely 500 climbers in total, nearly 90 deaths. That means your chance of dying there is 6 to 7 times higher. But numbers can't capture the truth. Because on K2, death isn't statistics. It's presence. It's in the wind, in every rock, in every place where a rope once snapped and the mountain went silent again. Why K2 is deadlier. Everest can be guided. You can pay for oxygen, follow ropes, wait for clear weather. If you're careful, you might make it. K2 doesn't care. There are no tourist routes here, only vertical ice walls, collapsing seracs, and avalanche paths. The most dangerous spot? The Bottleneck, a 100-meter stretch under a massive ice cliff the size of a building. It can fall at any second, and when you're under it, there's nowhere to run. The breath of fear. Climbers say K2 breathes differently. On Everest, you feel awe. On K2, you feel watched, as if the mountain itself decides who can pass and who won't. You can climb Everest. K2 lets you climb it. It's not about strength, it's about whether she allows it. When Everest was first conquered in 1953, it became a symbol of human victory. But 1 year later, in 1954, an Italian team reached K2's summit. Not all returned. Even in triumph, they knew the mountain always collects her debt. If you love stories where humans face nature at its cruelest, where danger isn't a word but a heartbeat, subscribe to this channel, because the next climb might take us beyond the edge. K2 is harder in every way. Similar height, double the danger. Everest has fixed ropes, ladders, base camps. K2? None of that. If the weather turns, your only choice is to pray. Temperatures drop to -40 degrees Celsius. Winds hit 200 kilometers per hour. Oxygen is half what it is at sea level. One wrong move, and it's a 3,000-meter fall. The weather. Everest has windows, days when climbing is possible. K2 sometimes gives you 1 day a year. Miss it, and you're trapped. Ice begins to fall, clouds swallow the summit, and the only thing left to do is go down. But that's when K2 kills most climbers, on the way down, because that's when exhaustion, confusion, and false relief strike. And that's when K2 takes her payment. Every death here has a name, a face. In 2008, 13 climbers died on K2 in a single night. One of the darkest days in mountaineering history. A massive icefall wiped out the ropes in the Bottleneck. There was no way down. Some waited for sunrise. Others tried to descend blindly. Only a few survived. On Everest, people often die from ambition, from pushing too far for the summit. On K2, They die from the mountain itself. It gives no second chances. Many climbers say K2 feels alive. If you climb for fame, she won't let you. If you climb for meaning, maybe. On Everest, you see tents, flags, and people. On K2, only silence. At 8,000 meters, you hear nothing but your heartbeat, and it beats like it might stop any second. But which one truly demands life in exchange for glory? Also, watch the video about the Polish line and about the famous people who never returned from Everest.